Welcome to this week's edition of Two Coaches, One Grizz. I'm your host, Frank Morales, with our Coach Emeritus, Gil Laura, and our resident superfan, the Grizz, Mario Mesa. And, we haven't been mentioning him lately, our super producer, AC, Anthony Carabutter. Gentlemen, how are we doing this evening?
Well, always glad to have Ace in the house. Bro, thankful, blessed. I'm just incredible week of sports. It's good to be here. Glad that we can churn out another one.
As always, the backbone, Ace. Without him, you don't hear us.
No,
nothing
at all.
Nothing happens.
Nothing.
So remember, it's always the guys behind the scenes that are the heart and soul.
Zero.
Plus, he's also a fellow X-Men fan. I don't know if you guys out there watch that stuff, but X-Men 97, catch it.
Oof. It was
Anyways.
Scintillating.
I think you should jump right into the lead story. This is something close to heart for you.
Well, you mean... Hey, thanks, bud.
The Grizz digging into the abdomen freshly that's been cut. I like it.
Yeah,
I like it.
But while we're alluding to the...
Life imitates art.
The wound is fresh.
While we're alluding to it...
I mean, you really want to be part of the team.
Literally and figuratively, they are alluding to the fact that your boy did have an appendectomy over the weekend.
Yeah, man.
A stomach ache on Saturday afternoon turned into appendicitis Saturday night into Sunday morning, and had to get an appendectomy.
Was it before or during or after the Knicks lost Game 7 at home? I mean, it's just we're trying to piece together where this happened. Why would you have it at such a exact moment?
The stomach ache started during the day Saturday, got progressively worse. The Knicks game was going on.
Got you. Anticipation towards got your body all
sure.
worked up.
Whatever.
He figured he'd go on the IR just like the rest of the friggin' Knicks did.
Like, you want to be part of the team. I mean, wear a jersey, but geez.
However you want to.
Guy wants to go to the infirmary.
Yeah, he follows them all the way, brother.
I was in the infirmary already.
I'm saying.
All the way.
I was.
But you're back. That's what they didn't do. They didn't get their players back.
Yeah,
we got our player back.
An organ lighter, but yes, I am back, ready to go. Thankful to be here. Thankful to be filming this or taping this episode after little bit of a scare, but we're ready to rock, baby.
Walk it off.
Grizz, coach, why don't you take it off the events of the weekend?
No, again, the Knicks did break down throughout the Game 7 and lost to the Pacers, which is something that we did discuss here. The Grizz did mention, and he was saying that the Coach Thibodeau does grind his guys to the ground. Obviously, he doesn't have too many guys after the first 6 or 7, so they were very short-handed. And when Brunson broke his wrist, it was all over. But
it was a wrap.
Josh Hart had gotten hurt the game before with the whole rib or abdomen section. Again, they were the walking wounded for two or three games. It was heroic what they had done in Game 6 to be able to win and take it to Game 7.
I mean, the Brunson injury, you can't put that on Tibbs because that's him just trying to swat a ball. It's just unfortunate. I told you, not hating the players, thought they were a fun team. It's a shame it happens, but hey, I just want to say this real quick because the national media was, all the injuries, they lost. All these little excuses when we kind of said it for our home team, the Dolphins, that ended up with a lot of people hurt, but I didn't want to hear it back then. They didn't want to hear it about them. I don't want to hear it about the Knicks. You got where you got. The Indiana Pacers shot the ball. Doesn't matter if you're not hurt or not. They shot an NBA record percentage from the field.
Oh, 57%?
No, 67%.
67%.
They shot over 70 in the first half.
At one point, yes.
They were shooting the ball out of the gym. So, I mean, that game you weren't going to win no matter what. That was one of those it was done. But it is a shame they lost all their pieces at the wrong time. And let me tell you, you don't want to go into, if they would have won that game by a miracle without Brunson going to Boston, it would have been a slaughter for 4 games.
Oh, and I'll be honest, I think Indianapolis is really showing how well they play together. They're doing a really good job.
Listen,
Halliburton, Siakam, I mean, they're balling.
We made fun of the in-season tournament, but they were the ones that played the Lakers, for that title. I mean, they have pieces that look good. And unfortunately, we're done with that game now. We move on to the finals. Unfortunately, they had a bad coaching episode at the end of the game. I know you saw this, so you could take the lead on this one, Frankie.
Yeah, so I mean, here's what's kind of, crazy about the Indiana Pacers, right? And the way that, like, they are 8-cylinder freaking Formula One, go, 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 go. And the way that the game started was like, holy shit, the Celtics are gonna run them out the gym here. It was a 14-0 start, I believe it was, and they couldn't buy a basket in that first 5 minutes of the game. And they stemmed the tide, right? They kept plugging away, and by the end of the first half, it was 64-64, right? And that just goes to show you, there's no down on that team. They're going. It's funny, right? Because the way that they play defense is they try to shut out the perimeter, right? And they almost dare you to go in into the lane, right? And try to get, have the other team score on the inside, and it works for them, right? Because somebody like the Celtics, they're very hot and cold when it comes to perimeter shooting. And even if they're giving them that interior game, the Celtics want to shoot the 3-ball, which worked right into the Pacers' hands. And for all of the last 3 minutes, until the last 3 minutes of the game, it worked for them. They were up by 4 or 5 with 8 seconds left in the game.
5 points.
And they pissed it down the drain, for lack of a better term.
But the speed you're talking about, that's what killed them at the end, because they kept trying to push the ball.
Right.
With the last 30 seconds up 3.
Grind it out.
They weren't doing that. They were still in this mode of just not knowing what to do.
But you know what?
Throwing the ball to bounds.
But I've seen it. That's like a theme in the NBA, though. Like everybody, you're up by 6 points with 50 seconds to go. I get it. It's a 24-second clock. Understood. But can you take your time?
Take the air out.
Take your time and shoot with 7 or 8 seconds, 6. Make the other thing, like Coach said, grind it out. But that is a theme across the NBA. Everybody, it doesn't matter. We're running. It's like, what the hell? You're winning.
They're the most extreme because they're like the number one team that does it the most.
It's great because
that's why they give up the defense. That's why they'll give up the shot, because 2 seconds later they're already moving the ball and making a shot. That's how they get there.
The problem is that trickles down, and then when it gets to high school and you suck. You're still running. It's like, what are you doing? You're winning by 6. Slow down. What are we going?
But that's a mistake that they'll have to clean that up, because obviously it was everyone to see that they made mistakes. The coaching made mistakes by not calling timeouts. It's just a plethora of mistakes that we can't do. And especially Halliburton had a turnover there at the end of the game. Just terrible.
So on his own.
That's the other issue, right?
You're the guy that's supposed to hold that ball, lead. You're the one who has the ball at the end of the game. Can't have that.
Halliburton made some terrible mistakes. It was 22 turnovers overall throughout the game.
Right.
Again, led to the point that they were in at that point. Halliburton, you could tell that this is his first legitimate playoff run. Right. They brought up a great point. Right. They had Chris Paul on the telecast last night, and one of the things that Wobon brings up with Chris Paul is he noticed right away on the inbounds pass. He goes, "Oh no, he's shading left instead of shading right." Right. Gave them the outlet pass to the corner, which allowed Jaylen Brown to make that shot.
Well, but again, that shot again.
1 out of 5 times
making that shot. Was, oh my God, it's a miracle of God. Yeah, I made it. Yeah, that's right, dog. I made it. What's up?
But his point.
But their point was talent. That's an easy shot for that guy.
Right. But
that really is an easy shot.
The point they were trying to make.
He looked.
The point that they were trying to make was
he's still that great. It's normal for them to
right.
Have that.
The point that they were trying to make was that he should have shaded to that side to take away that outlet pass. Was the issue, and it kind of showed like, okay, he's young. And later on in his career, he doesn't make that small little mistake, which regular basketball fans don't really notice. The next level, right? The person who's been playing for 20 years knows that the little nuances.
But once again, this is, first of all, I think it's tough for the Pacers now. This is a game they blew. So if they win this series, that means they would have won 5 times, because this was a win for them. It's going to be hard. But first 2 series, they lose the first game on the road. The world's coming to an end. They lost the first 2 at the Knicks. This is going to be a long series. This is for sure 6 or 7. The Celtics are going to give you that that bad shooting game. So you're going to have one of those games. The potential is that they're going to blow you out one of the games. But I just think the Pacers...
I don't think... I really... honestly, I don't think that with the way the Pacers play, they'll blow them out. I really do think that this is going to be a very close, hotly contested... Again, I think they make too many
series
too many
will be
shots.
close and contested, but you're going to have each... You're going to have a game... The last series, you had a 30-point win for the Pacers. The Knicks did it to them. I just think once you see they're having a bad shooting night, these guys I've seen it. There's 45-point game wins by Minnesota the other day. It's just, they're like, hey, we're just shutting this down. We'll wait for the next game. It's just, it feels like you're going to have a blowout here, but I'm saying the series is going to go 7. And then the last game, I think we'll be down like a close game. It's just,
I think that there is one thing to note, right? When we look at this series in particular, and we talk about the Boston Celtics, and we've known this, right? Like, they don't deal well with pressure. Right, and and a team like the Pacers, they don't know any better, right? Like they're.
Well, I think
the argument for Boston is
lose.
This playoff is a cakewalk for them, because even though I think the Pacers will give them that kind of, they can easily win in 5 because it's 6-seeded Pacers.
Grizz, I agree, but again, even then,
I think this game last night gives them belief in them ending and finishing games, because that's always where they have a problem, is to finish the game.
Correct.
Last night they were able to come back and then win in overtime. So I think that gives them confidence going forwards to finishing games.
You think this is detrimental to the Pacers run here?
I'm not saying it's detrimental to the Pacers run as much as I think it's beneficial to Boston in the long run.
Like confidence-wise.
Correct.
Yeah.
But this is one of these things
to be able to run it and win the game at the end.
But this series shows you every scenario. It shows you the Celtics could probably sweep them, because they're supposedly that dominant. It shows you that they'll probably have a couple games when they're off their game. The Pacers are playing above their mind. You know, like you said, they're young. But I'm saying that's why Carlisle to me is a really good coach. And like you're gonna get the best out of this team. Like, they're not supposed to be that good yesterday.
No.
They're coming off a 7-game series. Celtics were rested. They should have been blown out 14-0 to start the game. Like
100%.
And they come back. So I think you're gonna see a different kind of approach. Remember, game 2 for Boston's not so good.
Correct.
So remember, there's a game of runs too. This series is a game by game.
Ebb and flow.
You're gonna get some good play in this series. I'm really happy with both. You know, the series is gonna be good, but I wanna really talk about the Western Conference.
Yeah. No. I agree. I think, like you said, I think it is going to be a 7-game series, right? I think that there's going to be, it's going to be fun to see how both teams respond, right, going into it. But like you said, I do want to get into the Western Conference.
The Grizz says, I don't need no stinking numbers. I'm telling you, take Minnesota. They're going to win. They didn't sweep, but he was right. They came through down 20 to the defending champs after getting soundly beaten in game 5. Minnesota comes back, wins, and takes 7.
And not even that. They're down 20 points at the beginning of the second half.
Down 20
in game
at the
7.
second half.
And the best way to say it is they walked Denver's ass down.
But again,
the team from the Mile High City looked super tired at
the Nuggets could not hit a bucket though. There was a stretch there Jokic couldn't hit one. Murray nobody could hit the broadside of a board.
You literally saw like a balloon deflating. It was
crazy.
It was the end of they had no more last gasp. Listen, I'm gonna look at it as 2 little mini 2-game sweeps to start it, to end it, a little hiccup in the middle. To win game 6 by 45 and then to come back down 20. I think it was 58-38. And then you don't just win by a squeaker. You take it up where you were up like 10. You end up winning by 8.
Yeah.
No. We walked them down with 6 minutes to go.
Yeah. Walked them down with 6 minutes to go. And
what are we doing?
And here's the best part about it is, Jokic has been known for these crazy, like, over the head, like, nasty shots. And how did the dagger fall for the Nuggets?
The Nuggets?
Your boy.
Of all people, Gobert
Your boy.
with a nasty, disgusting.
Do they get gold jackets in the NBA Hall of Fame? 'Cause
Sidearm
that's
shot.
your boy. You said that guy should never start again. I saw that like in some chat somewhere. Like this guy should never start again. Look, he gives you that little rainbow.
To start it off.
Joker at
Or
the
to
end.
end it, really.
Joker at the end of the game in the post game just said it. They were built to beat us. They were like, we forget that. That's the old school way of like doing things. Oh, this is the team we got to beat. They're in our division. They're in our conference, and you want to beat the Nuggets. They got size.
The move of the game was Nas Reed.
Oh,
Nas
yeah, for
Reed
sure.
was the move. When that guy came in,
Count on a guy named Nas.
all of a sudden, he gave him a spark. He gave them life. He was all over the court. And Minnesota started really playing better. And all of a sudden, Anthony had found his shot.
6 for 24.
All of a sudden, he started balling.
We didn't even notice that. Anthony Edwards had 20. How many points?
He was
for 24.
He was 6 for 24.
Like
I think it was 18 points.
18 points. What
was
did
it?
Edwards ended up with 16.
16 points.
and what did
And he had them all in the second half.
Carl Anthony Towns have?
Towns had 23. McDaniels
You
had
tell me
23.
those two guys have those point totals in a game 7 and they win by 8? Oh, by the way, what did Joker and Murray have? I think they
went
35
off.
and 34 if I remember.
They went off.
Yeah, but it was
Problem was the rest of the team had 21
they
points.
went off in the first half.
You can't have 21 points for every other player on the team.
No.
There's no way to win.
No, especially like and they're touted
At
to
home,
have a deep
when
bench.
you're supposed to have your others play. They didn't have anybody show up.
Gordon disappeared in that game.
Yeah, I mean
4 points was it?
Porter 7. Again, it was one of those Caldwell had been playing so well, hitting some clutch threes. Disappeared.
Listen, I'm
Hide and
very
seek.
excited because this is beating Denver means there's going to be a new champion 6th year in a row that ties the record for all time of different champions. I just remember the NBA always being here. There's a three-peat here. There's a three-peat here. Back to back here.
Yeah, it's a sport of dynasties.
It's cool to see. Like you kind of have a chance every year. Just get the right. Obviously, you have a guy like Anthony Edwards on your team. Finally, a guy that produces like that. It's just, man, it's fun to have it. Minnesota's going to be fun to watch, but I will say,
I do think they do have a very strong matchup against Dallas.
I will say that last game against the Thunder to close it out, Luka and Kyrie, man, it's just that's going to be.
I think they're playing really well together. Again, they're focused.
Everybody
tough.
hated that trade last year. Apparently
They're
not this
tough.
year right now.
Well, again, I go back to what we talked about a few weeks ago. Luka plays. He cries. He's a crier.
He's a crier.
He's a whiner, but he doesn't talk off the court. He's not one of those guys that's a star to get attention. Kyrie has kind of followed those steps. He's also not talked too much about the earth being flat and other things that he likes to get into.
Luka in his first 40 games, I think, has scored 1,200 points, averaging over 30-something points a game. There's only one guy I think that has done better, Michael Jordan. Okay, that guy is going to be a problem.
No, listen.
Kyrie, probably best handle ever in the game.
The Minnesota defense is going to be
shooter.
tested.
I know, but I'm saying
Minnesota defense is going to be tested.
You still have that. The defense for Minnesota is what I think is going to be. You stopped a team with Joker and Murray. I think it's kind of the same. But I will say, the Kyrie factor is no flatters. That was funny. The Kyrie factor to me is that he is now mature enough. And I think him and Luka playing together, that's a formidable duo. 7 games again in this series. I think Minnesota will close it out, though.
Yeah, I would tend to lean Minnesota just because they got a lot more inside help, right? Whereas, as we can see, right, the Mavericks are more guard dominant, right?
Cat's gonna go off in this series.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think Cat's this is his series, if there is one, for him to go off and really pop off on and come into his own, if you will, right? They talk about, he's been with Minnesota for 9 years, but really he's the best he's ever played has been with Edwards. Right. And And, you have the pundits on one side saying, oh, he only went 6 for 24 in a 7-game series. But the problem is, like, he's a baller. Like, he didn't let that affect the rest of his game. Like, he affected Game 7 in every other way that he could. And those dudes followed him. Right? He is the natural leader. Cat has deferred to him. And in order for them to get to where they want to go, it's got to be on his back, on his energy. Now, the best thing that I saw out of that was he didn't let that affect him. His Game 7, poor shooting night, whatever the case is. First thing he saw when he saw, oh, we got the Mavericks. Yeah, I got Kyrie. He's mine, right? And you don't see that anymore in today's game, right? When it comes to old school, he's as old school as it gets.
We talked about
what did I say when we came back, though?
We discussed it.
When we came back on this podcast, there's a few weeks ago, I said he was on Van Pelt's show, and he says, I want to kill them all. That's the type of mindset you have to have. They talk about Jordan and Kobe thought process with this man.
Yeah.
That's what you need, that killer instinct.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? I never even heard LeBron say something
Kill a
like that.
mosquito with an axe.
Exactly. So, like, I love this kid. And is it too soon for him? This is the thing. Like, it was funny what they said. Like, hey, you guys have to lose in a certain way. And Kat and him were like, we lost last year. We lost for 20 years. It's like, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Now, that was what I'm talking about. Like, you have all these dynasties. Like, you were supposed to lose first round. These kids are like, I don't want to lose anymore, man. No. We're going.
Let's do it.
And I think that we're not the big threes anymore. Now it's dynamic duos.
Yeah, I think it's going back to
back to at least solid two
with
some
bench.
solid role players.
Right.
Exactly. Great coaching.
Yeah, hell, they got the defensive player of the year. They got the 6th man of the year. They got, first team All NBA in Edwards. Like, stacked team all the way around. So it's going to be fun to watch them. Real quick, preview of tonight's game. Who do you got?
It's the first game. I think Minnesota's super hyped up to play. I think they win. I see this being like Minnesota back and forth. Game 2, Dallas. They split in Dallas. I think it's that type of, like, we're winning one game each. Like, I can really see, like, split 2-2, game 5 Minnesota, 6 back. I see it like that. Like, the home team's taking care of business. There was too many road victories the last series. I think this is
home and home.
Yeah, man. This is just cool, man. And like you said, pregame right now. It's funny, real quick, talking about that the basketball rights got lost for TNT, and we might not see the Inside the NBA, probably the best studio show of all time in any sport. But I will like to see
one more year.
I would like to see the little theme song from NBC back.
Oh, hey. Yeah, that'll be fun. Coach, who do you got for tonight?
Again, I think it's going to be a boxing match back and forth. I got to see how the Mavericks match up against the Wolves. I do think that Dallas pulls it out. Not tonight, but in the series.
Okay.
7? I like Dallas for the series.
7 or 6?
I'll go to. It's gonna go more than 5. I don't think either one does a gentleman's sweep or a sweep period. I do think the Mavericks have a little bit more experience on their side. So both Kyrie and Nick and
well, Dallas was here a couple years ago.
And like I said, but Doncic has been there. Kyrie has been there. Yep. So I have a little bit more experience at this level. So I'm gonna defer to that, and I think that Dallas wins in the end. Game 1, the Timberwolves are still excited. They just came off of a big game 7. So we'll see how that works out.
Good stuff. All right, gentlemen, we're going to jump from one playoff to the other, from the hardwood to the ice, and we're going to jump straight into some NHL playoff action. All right, Eastern Conference.
From the fluff to the grit. From the flop to the check.
There you go. Could chuck around and find out. Coach, jump right into it. What do you got for us?
Man, I'll tell you, both teams are so evenly matched, the Rangers and the Panthers. It's going to be an incredible back and forth game. They're playing in New York today. I would love to be able to steal game 1. That would be amazing. Both of the goalies are very, very, very good. I think that we have a small advantage of goalie. The Rangers end up having been the best team in hockey, number 1. However, that number 1 team in hockey has not won the Stanley Cup in, I don't know, God knows,
30 years.
So we'll see if that trend continues or if it's going to go to New York.
I'll never forget when they won because it was during the OJ slow chase. It was during that. It was, I think, Game 6 or Game 7.
I think it was Game 7.
Yeah.
But like
I'm
I
sorry.
said,
I think it was the parade
I think the Panthers,
because it was the 30 for 30 special on it, and I think I saw a parade for it. Just saying, because the Knicks were playing also.
I have the Panthers on the side view here so I can take a look at it and click on and off when it gets started. But I do.
You know what?
Feel like
I
the
thought you were going to
Panthers-
say, Coach, the Rangers being the number one team out of the 4 teams left, they're the least favored to win the cup. And the Panthers are actually favored to win the cup,
Right.
which is funny to me.
We're favored in the series
I'm saying out of the 4 teams left, they're favored of the
to win.
they have
to
the
win the cup. Right.
they have the best odds to win.
Vegas has us winning the cup.
And the Rangers have the worst odds. I just find that funny.
Again, they're
I
playing.
hope Vegas is right.
I think they're playing the toughest team left
Oh, of course.
in the 4.
I'm going to be honest. I think the last 4 teams are all the toughest teams in the hockey. But I mean, for the East, the Rangers have had that kind of year. Once again, it's one of those New York years. So, both like the Knicks and the Rangers having that kind of year. But I mean, the Panthers coming back from last year, you know what they want. They want to prove that last year was
They're
no
out for
fluke.
blood. They really are.
Out for blood. And like I said, national media knows that about us, that we're like a tough team, the team you do not want to play.
That's why I said
matchup wise.
That's why I said toughest, because I think
Yeah.
we are tougher than everybody else.
Our
We're more
matchup
physical.
is-
We find a way to muck up the game,
Boston found out real quick.
and that's what we like. We like that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So again, I do think that's going to put us over the top against the Rangers. And then we'll see what happens on the other side with the Stars and the Oilers. That's going to be
Western Conference.
it's going to be a shootout every game. I think that's going to be.
I'm personally going for the Oilers. I want some Canada in the Stanley Cup.
McDavid's been around long enough where he needs to go.
We couldn't have a longer flight than from Sunrise to Edmonton if that gets to be the finals.
That is literally across the northern hemisphere.
That'd be Hey, if you guys, maybe we take the pod on the go. We go to Edmonton. No,
And then they got to come over here. Which is
if we can find a sponsor, more we're more than willing to do it.
that'd be great. We can't even find one for the Sunrise place. But
We'll get there.
I'm very excited to see. I think what is it, McDavid, right?
Connor McDavid.
Yeah. Oh,
Connor McDavid.
He is, and I think everybody agrees at this point, probably the most skilled player to ever play the game. And he's
That's saying
lived,
something.
And again, not that he is living in obscurity, because obviously people know of his talents, but in relative obscurity because of the lack of playoff success that this team has had. Right. And it gets frustrating when you see a talent like that not reaching that potential, not personally because he is that and more. But at what point do you ask, is the organization doing enough to highlight him and put him in a position where they can get to that point?
Well, again, it depends on your makeup of your team, right? If you're all in on scoring, then you're going to give up goals on the other side, and I think that's what's happened with them.
no matter how much of a superstar you're in hockey, you need a lot of players. This is you're in the game for a third of the game. You need other players. You need a goalie. There's a lot of factors that I don't think it's as much his fault compared to another sport's great talent. So like
your special teams have to be special.
You have to be special, exactly.
Your penalty
when you get
killing
the power
team
play,
has
the
to be-
defense. So there's a lot of factors, and I think the guy wins a cup, he's going to be up there.
Right.
He's playing for the team which had the greatest hockey player of all time. So that's something else. Putting that specific team back on the map would be pretty cool. And it's just like I said, it's
good for hockey.
It's good for hockey. I think like it's a good time for hockey. Like we talked about, like the viewers up, everything, the way the game is played.
Right.
Very exciting. And like I said, all the teams left are very good teams. And okay, take out Edmonton out of there. You got 3 other great markets: New York, Dallas, and South Florida. I mean, this is, I think this is going to be a really good finals for the NHL.
Yeah, the Final Four is good. The Final Four, the on ice Final Four, I think are exceptional.
Yep.
Yeah, I think it is going to be a fun one. It obviously hometown, right? We
Be
want
fantastic.
We want the Florida Panthers to be here.
Be fantastic.
Like you said, Grizz, Edmonton Oilers, Florida Panthers.
That'd be awesome.
What a turnaround that would be.
That would be fantastic. If it's Dallas, that's cool because, it reminds you of the days that he played the Mavs and stuff like that. But that would be really cool, man. I just, hockey's a cool sport. And for South Florida to finally get over the hump of having this team for over 30 years, the last couple of years has finally been good for a good fan base, like they've always been pretty loyal, and I mean, deservedly so. It's a good product once you see it. And it's one of the most fun sports to see in person.
They've had limited success. They have had some guys, and they've had some good players along the way, have gone to the playoffs, and have put up a good fight for a non-hockey city.
Right, but nothing compared to their little upstate rival, the Tampa Bay Lightning. I mean, they flourished. I mean, Stanley Cup wins have been, I'm just saying
we've been the bridesmaid.
Yeah, and
we've been the bridesmaid.
So like we had that first couple of years, we get there the third year, and then from there was nothing for 25 years. So it's pretty cool to see them back to relevant.
There it is. That does it for segment 1. We're gonna be right back with some NFL news. Back for segment 2 of this week's episode of Two Coaches, One Grizz.
Just barely. We're back barely. We're
going to jump right into some news on the gridiron. Right, we got some NFL updates on contract negotiations. I know that this might turn into a little spirited conversation here about Tua's impending negotiation with the Dolphins. Grizz, give me your thoughts here right off the hit, because I know this guy over here is gonna have his thoughts.
As long as he keeps a lighter in his pocket, I'm okay. I'm gonna be civil. I'm gonna behave like an angel.
I'm not here to blow anything up, especially not this conversation.
Not blow anything up.
Not this conversation.
I'm not sure about that.
Not the Dolphins' future. Here's the thing, man. Tua, I know you're talking about. He wants his money. They all want their money, especially a guy that a year ago we thought was going to never play the game again. He wants to max out. He's not going to get the max. It's just negotiations. It's why he has an agent. You just don't say yes on the first date. You gotta be taken out a few times. You gotta talk about things. It'll get worked out. He'll get paid. When you got people like Goff getting $50 million, all these guys getting this kind of, come on. Everybody's going to get paid. This is the world we live in. You know what I'm saying? The guy he's going to be like, guys, kind of led the league in passing yards. Sorry. Played every game when you thought I couldn't. Sorry, I need to get paid here. And he will. And the thing is, I think he'll get paid a little less because, yes, I know what you're going to say. You got to have money for the other players. I get it. But all these guys, the Tom Brady thing is the very rare thing. Go find yourself a woman that makes more money than you and take care of that, and you'd be fine. But these guys, we're talking about nothing right now to me. Talk about it later. But I know there's people in this room and outside this room that I talk about too a lot, and it gets a little bit, spicy, testy. But let's get over it, because you know what? The guy's a good kid playing good. And we got some more weapons for him. I want to see what, he does, later on this year. He's going to be fine.
We were able to get more weapons.
Yes.
He's got more weapons because there's money in the bank.
Exactly.
If he breaks the bank.
Correct.
He will run out of weapons and he will go back to being human. Well, and that is my concern.
I know. It's
my concern. Yeah, but he's going to learn the lesson at whose expense? The team. I mean, a little bit of his own, because I'm sure he's going to get popped up 2 or 3 times holding the ball. But apart from that, he has to understand that he has to be smart on this. Yes, I get it. He wants money. Understood. As I said last week, $40 million is nothing to joke around. I mean, nothing to sneeze at. I don't want 40. You know what? I don't want 40 mil. No? Come on, get the hell out of here.
How much is the max? How much could he make?
Well, 53 to 4. No, he can make whatever
he can
they
make
pay
like
him.
$65 million.
70, 80.
Right.
The sky's
but
the
realistically,
limit.
Realistically, if they push it
55 to 60.
55 to 60.
He said no to 40.
If they front load it with a signing bonus, it's like 65.
Well, I don't know what he
Did
said
he say
no
no
to.
40?
He said no. He said no to the first attempt at signing him. They said no.
Did they talk about 45?
I don't know. I don't know
46?
exactly. They haven't said. They haven't given out figures.
Those numbers will be out for next week's episode.
They haven't given out any figures. Nothing.
As we started today, we don't need no stinking numbers right now.
We don't stay no stinking numbers.
Is he worthy of top 10 money?
Yeah. Again, I believe. Listen, if Daniel Jones is getting top 10 money, for goodness sakes,
yes, he's worth
the
more
kid
than
is
Daniel
worth
Jones.
10,
And
10
that being a Daniel Jones,
40 mil. So,
are you a fan?
If you say fan, I'm kicking you
I don't
out.
know. I don't know. It's your guy.
No, that's not my guy.
He's got a lighter. Be careful.
I am telling you.
Don't kick him out of the house.
That nobody's worth the kind of money that any of these guys are worth except for Patrick Mahomes. That's the only guy.
And
really
he's making on average $44 million.
Yeah, he's due a raise, and that's the problem. Like the market now with like what we talked about last week with the scheduling, Netflix throwing money around. There's only more money. Guess what?
Yes.
We're gonna give it to these players,
but
right?
It's a group of. Remember, you're signing 53 guys.
Yes.
So that money kind of runs out after a while. So he needs weapons. He needs to be smart. Going after the big bucks right away puts the team in a bind. Puts the defense in a bind.
How many contracts you got usually in a long career are 2 good, solid contracts. His first has to be his best. He's not going to get, this guy's definitely not going to get big money second contract, most likely. I don't know. Who knows?
I don't know what to tell you.
If he stays healthy.
If he stays healthy.
No. If he takes him to the Super Bowl in the next few years after getting paid, yeah, he might get that restructure. But what if he makes it to the Super Bowl, doesn't make it past another year after that? I think his window of greatness is in the next 5 years. I don't think this is going to be a guy in his 40s playing the quarterback position.
So in the next 5 years, if he breaks the bank, he won't have anybody to throw it to.
He's got a few young guys still on the team. And listen, I don't know what to tell you, Gil. I want him to make the least amount of money so the rest of the team can make money. But this is what all these guys do.
I want him to get paid.
All these guys get paid, and they work around it. And we just have to have the right personnel always to figure it out. That's how it's done.
I got nothing against him getting paid. However, I am against him being dumb about getting paid.
Correct. But I don't think he's going to break the bank. I think they'll come to a happy meeting. I think they will come to a happy meeting.
We'll see.
Because this is his place. Everywhere else, I don't think he has a chance to play. That's why everybody thinks, I'm a Super Tua fan. I'm not. I'm just a fan of how he plays for this team, and he's the best thing I've seen since Dan Marino. And that's just the bottom line.
Because the Grizz said so.
Yeah.
As long as as long as he does the right thing, gets the right amount of money,
right,
and puts the Dolphins in a position to compete over the next 4 or 5 years.
You have everything. Everything you're saying is perfect. You have the right mindset. No. The problem is they don't listen to people like you.
No, of course not. Of course they don't listen
to people like you.
They don't. No,
and that's the problem. And then even the people giving the money, the Dolphins GMs and coaches, they're not listening to any of us either. They're just trying to get this resolved and then figure it out later.
Nobody from the Giants listened to me for giving the guy $40 million. I told, don't give that guy $40 million. Are you crazy? $40 million.
Ain't nobody listen.
There you go.
I'm not arguing anything that you're saying, but don't think for 1 second that I was in the whole Daniel.
No, I'm not saying
Daniel Jones was never close to leading the
league.
Never close to leading the league in like yards and all that stuff.
Anywho,
I don't know. So,
to be determined. I think it's safe to say that. Now we're gonna go right from the gridiron to another type of turf, a more, higher end, right, astute level of turf playing field.
I was going to go to another position in the football field. I was going to the kickers.
Oh,
maybe a little Butker conversation.
Okay, listen, we're really going to bring that guy up right now.
Butker, why not? What did he say that was so wrong?
Here we go.
He's probably not going to be playing for the team.
Of course he are. Are you nuts? Did you hear Andy Reid today? Did you hear what Andy Reid said? He says, I let all you guys in. He told the press corps, he goes, I let a lot of you guys in here, and I don't like what you say. There was nothing. He didn't say anything wrong. That's my issue. Why do we have to take offense to him saying what he said? There's nothing wrong with it. He opened up with saying that there's a lot of women there that will be getting degrees and be moving forward with professional careers, But he also said, I also hope that some of you are wives and moms and take it like my wife. And he was very thankful and he appreciated her for doing that and being the mother of his children and dealing with the household.
You have a way to whitewash things
What
so
do you mean?
phenomenally.
But what did he? That's what he said.
Ace, make sure that we get the transcript for the next
Please,
episode.
let's make sure we get a recording of the guy. That's what he said. And on top of everything else, he's speaking at a Catholic university graduation. I mean, if he was in Berkeley, maybe I'd understand the way. But he's at a Catholic graduation. He didn't say anything that should not be okay. That was our standard of living here for many years. And if you can afford it, if it works out, knock yourself out. And the guy happens to be the best kicker in the NFL. He's usually the number one fantasy guy off the board in kickers. So, no, Kansas City's not going to get rid of him.
No, they're not going to get rid of him. I don't think it was that
Even
crazy,
Goodell said, man, we have and you know what? I liked it because I think they're learning from Dana White. I think they're learning that you have a lot of individuals and a lot of people that have different opinions and different thoughts. As long as you don't say something that's racist, unless you're very being extremely vulgar, then yes, I understand that part. But people are entitled to their opinions. There's nothing wrong with them saying it.
You got anything to add here?
50-50 shot he's not on the team start of the season.
Can we make some money?
I would never bet this, but I'm just telling you.
I love how we're following this up.
No, you just replay it. Just say how wrong I was.
Put a little bet. Come
you
on,
can just say I'm wrong.
Can we do the side money?
No.
Come on,
This guy.
This is an off the board type of money.
1,000%. I just want to highlight.
Remember, this is just if you watch X-Men, remember me.
I just want to highlight how he
remember it.
I just want to highlight how he echoes his conservative views, which is nothing wrong with that. Followed by, oh, you want to put some money?
There's nothing wrong with that.
If they put some noise,
there's nothing wrong with that either. I'm not telling you.
I don't even disagree with him. I'm just saying if there's some noise, he might not be on the team. I'm just saying.
There's been noise.
Everybody's capable of it, especially a kicker. Just saying.
Again,
Casey's had some stuff going on this offseason.
Let me tell you,
they have
some stuff.
Some serious stuff.
Got clean the Super Bowl champs. They've been partying too much.
Speaking of stuff, on the more astute gentleman's side of the turf.
What this guy do with this stuff?
Let's talk about what happened in the major this weekend. Let's start with Scheffler. Speaking
PGA
speaking about a buttoned up dude.
And you know what? It happened at a great.
The
did
number
you guys
one
know?
player.
Do you know what the
player.
name? Do you know what the name of that golf course is? Valhalla. You can't get more. Man, Valhalla.
Poor guy.
That's where the Asgardians go when they die, right?
Valhalla. It's Valhalla. I'm telling you.
The Norse.
Yeah,
Yes.
the Norse gods.
I'm telling you, can't be more than Scotty Scheffler. Don't you know who I am?
Not Thor.
Definitely not Thor.
Come on. Can't you? Hey, can you get it on my
Number
way?
one player.
I've got a tea time. I got to go.
Apparently the number one player in the world, not enough.
They're like, hold on, guys.
Yo, hey.
Someone died on this
Hey,
road. Relax,
hey,
bro.
hey,
Relax.
just hop on. I'll take you for a ride. Oh, you took me literally. My bad.
Oh, I'm not supposed to do this?
No.
Sir, get out of the car.
Come here.
Yeah, I mean, again, what are the chances that somebody's going to get run over at the entrance to a golf course at 5 o'clock in the morning? There's not, the chances are pretty slim. But that's what happened.
I will say that kudos to that guy for getting arrested, getting booked.
I thought you were talking about the guy got run over. I was like, kudos to that guy. What are you talking
no.
about?
But God rest that guy's soul. Getting booked, putting him in the orange jumpsuit, and then he comes and turns around and shoots a 6 under par.
No, he birdies the first hole. He birdies the first hole, and the crowd goes nuts. The crowd's like, they think they're in a football game. Unbelievable. And then he had a good finish. He had a rough third round.
The next day was rough, right? When
Finished 8th. Not bad.
I'm telling you, he finished strong.
Not bad.
The morning of was solid.
Right.
The
adrenaline was going. He was still hopped up. The next day, he was like, it all came back to it.
Next
I'm a little
day.
tired, man.
Yeah.
These guys
He was
just
like, thug life. Thug life, bro. I got
me
the
out.
thug life. I got this. Y'all don't know nothing. I've been inside.
Saturday was rough.
I've been locked up.
Sunday comes back. Like you said, ends up finishing 8th. But listen, let me tell you something about locked in. What's his name? Xander Schauffele?
No, Shuffle. Xander Shuffle. From Scheffler to Shuffle.
Schauffele?
Listen, let me tell you.
He finally won one.
That Sunday had 10 guys. 10 guys were all in position to win. An incredible finish. Unbelievable. I mean, DeChambeau knocks. That guy's good. He's just good.
No, it's solid.
Yeah, of course. I have the other guy. I took the other guy.
Hovland.
I had Hovland.
I had him too.
I had Hovland. I was gonna get $450 if that guy won. For $10.
I didn't have him with actual cash, but mine-wise, I had him.
I had him with actual cash.
Okay.
It was a nice little $10 parlay that was gonna pay
why not?
$450. It was nice, and he was right there. And then we died in the last hole. But again, it was a great finish. Xander, as you said, really played well Saturday and Sunday. Finished super strong. And it's funny that, we were just talking a few minutes ago about the young guys in the NBA. There is really a core of young golfers that are so good.
Yeah.
No, they really are. There's a core of golfers that are exceptional. I mean, really, really good. And that game's it's tough to play, man.
Saw him talk on, I think, Barstool the other day, and they said that Scheffler's in a group chat that they have, all the young guys, and they changed the group picture to his orange jumpsuit. And that's what I love about it, that all those guys,
they bust each other's
and he mentioned
chops.
everybody, they're all the major champions, basically.
And I'm telling you.
Such a cool move a few years ago that the PGA got moved to this spot in May, because it made it so perfect. You have every month for 4 straight months of a major.
A major, correct.
And it keeps golf like hot, and especially some of the places they play, Valhalla and all these places, you just have them at the right time. And
let me tell you,
it's fantastic.
I do think, with all that being said, I think the introduction of the LIV golf tournament has been something really, really, really big with the PGA Tour. I think that's pushed the players on each side to play better, play harder, because again, now you want your tour to be better than the other. So the idea of the LIV has been something for golf that was much needed. Golf got stale for a while,
right?
And now all of a sudden, there's really like competition. There's guys from the LIV playing. Sure. The Shambles, that guy that's from the LIV, and he's playing. He's finishing strong there. So again, it's been good. The golf is really getting.
What I did appreciate too about Sunday was Xander over here. I'm not going to even attempt his
shuffle.
Shuffle.
Falafel.
No,
not falafel.
No, he's coming up on the last couple holes, and DeChambeau's there like, well, shit, I gotta keep warm here, and he pulls out his whole bag, and he's they
usually go to the driving range and start getting ready, and
he's on the driving range, and he's staying warm, and he's watching them on the big screen, and everybody is watching this kid, and they're like up and down. He's got the putt for what? I think it might have been 10, 15 feet to end it. But that whole entire sequence of, you have DeChambeau warming up, you see him in the background, right? You have Xander on the big screen. Like that whole sequence there was super dope, right? Like that was something that was really enjoyable to watch. And I'm a casual golf fan at best. It would have been dope to see the 3-hole playoff, but it was a thrilling end either way. I thought, it was fun to watch. And like you said, Grizz, like, now that the new schedule, the way that they have it set up, it keeps everything kind of in the forefront. Part of it too, to get, to piggyback off of your point here, the Netflix series too has also done a lot. It's
created a lot of
buzz for the sport as well.
For the sport, yes.
So definitely some good things to come here, and let's see what they end up doing with the whole merger situation, because that has been the weirdest, under wraps.
It's not really a merger.
It's been the weirdest under wraps situation that they got going, because we heard that they met at some beach over here, and like let's see what comes out of it.
There's just so much money it's just so much money involved, and so much to do with that. With those players and having those guys on tour, because again, you do create a buzz with all of them, and having half on one side, half on the other,
Right.
creates that competition. Like
Is that what
like
you think
Grizz
it's
was
gonna?
saying.
You think it's gonna be like a Eastern Conference, Western Conference type situation?
I think it's more Monday Night Raw and SmackDown.
Yeah, there you go. Or the old,
Remember those
the
guys?
old
They don't go to the other
or
side.
the old WCW days.
You
back in
gotta
the
wait.
day.
You gotta wait for the Royal Rumbles and the main, WWE.
the old WCW days and
That's gonna be good.
WWE.
On that note, speaking of some
Rumble.
fisticuffs, we're gonna be right back to close out the show with some UFC 302 action. And back to close out our weekly edition of Two Coaches, One Grizz with the segment, usually UFC, but we're going to start with a little news.
Just a little drizzle.
Just a little driblet, right? On
Drizzle.
NCAA news and information, just because the Grizz wanted to touch on something here. We're going to talk about, real quick, the whole Jalen Rashada saga with UF. And what the hell does this mean, specifically for UF, right? And their NIL situation and the NIL situation as a whole for the NCAA. Coach, take it away.
Well, according to news reports, Jalen Rashada is suing the Florida Gators for fraud based on his $13.89 million nil
Insane.
supposed contract that he had agreed to. However, there is certain excerpts coming out that, first of all, he never signed his letter of intent while negotiating this nil, which again technically makes it null and void until he signs. It was all a verbal agreement, and he says that he was fooled or they committed fraud on him because he agreed to it, and I guess he's trying to say it affected his ability to go somewhere else or to be recruited or what have you. I think it's just sour grapes because he ended up going to Arizona State and he sucked. Now he's at Georgia. I don't know how much he's going to play at Georgia because the starting quarterback at Georgia is pretty damn good. I don't see that guy going anywhere. So we'll see. We'll see what this guy.
So it only came out. It only came out now that he's at Georgia.
Well,
Did it come out in Arizona State?
No, correct. Now that he's at Georgia, is that it's happening. So therefore, there could be.
Hey, Coach Smart, is it cool if I
a little SEC,
drop a little bomb about the Gators?
There you go.
Sure, kids.
Whatever
you got to say.
A little
I'm
SEC
sure it's fine.
competition, a little rivalry there with Georgia and the Gators.
Yeah, sure, that didn't have anything to do with it.
No, nothing at all. Come on, what's wrong with you?
So, according to the lawsuit, among other things, it alleges that Napier promised the player's father a $1 million partial payment upon signing. Rashada never got the money, and the boosters never fulfilled the deal.
But the thing is,
that is what the lawsuit says.
But I don't think he signed.
I
get it.
I'm only the harbinger of the information, sir.
I'm with you. I'm following you. But again, what I'm trying to say is that he didn't sign. So by not signing the letter of intent, then you can't get the $1 million bonus.
I would tend to agree.
Right? I mean, because that's what it ends up being, a $1 million signing bonus. That's what it is.
I don't know. This is the new age. They used to do this under the wraps back in the day, so I don't know how this is done in the open air. And everybody knows what's going on. Because $1 million is pretty good.
I wish they would go back to washing cars, air quotes, washing cars, and getting $2,000.
Working at the movie theater.
Exactly.
We're just buying them some pizza, some ice cream. Nothing big.
I mean.
So, again, the way that it is stated here is that he did sign, but that the rest of the payment did not come out. Again, at this point, there's so many different angles to the story that who the hell knows, right? Like, Grizz, what are your thoughts? How do you think this bodes for the rest of the NCAA NIL situation as we see it?
I'm sorry.
Highlight.
The Panthers are up 1-0.
Yes, sir.
We're up 1-0.
There we go.
Sorry.
Hey, baby.
Good breaking news right
Go ahead,
there.
sir.
Hey,
Go ahead,
ho.
sir. My apologies.
Breaking news.
You can always break for a little Panther update. Listen, this is the can of worms that was opened up eventually. I mean, I remembered I brought this up so we could talk about it because I was remembering how you were bringing up, the Madden, not Madden, EA Sports. Now that you finally got NCAA back,
Right.
And they're going to be able to pay him, I think, what is it, $600?
$600 per. But now it's coming out now that the bigger high profile athletes are going to be.
Yeah, they can do social media stuff.
They're going to be negotiating their own deal.
But
Correct.
that's perfect. That's perfect because the kid that's the guard, from a school you've never heard of.
The left guard from
$600.
Eastern Arkansas State.
Hey, $600, not bad. Go get yourself that pizza and ice cream we were talking about legitimately.
Heard.
But I mean, this is the can of worms you open. Once it's going to lead to. We were talking off air. You're going to have to unionize the college kids. You might change the sport as it is, but it was bound to change. It was bound to change. Things have to adapt.
Well, no,
Things have to change.
You know what?
You're going to pay these kids either underneath the table or now they want to do it, up front. This is how it's got to be up front. And it's got to be managed better than what it's happening. Well, and remember, the NCAA is going to go bye-bye.
The problem is the NCAA fumbled that situation.
I would
when
agree.
Okay, and do you guys know how this all got started?
Northwestern dispute that they sued the NCAA over unionizing the football team, correct?
Technically speaking, it was over EA Sports and
Ed O'Bannon.
Football game.
No, remember Ed O'Bannon back in the day, also the
with
UCLA
college
basketball player?
With the college basketball game.
He has been a forefront for this.
But no, O'Bannon was about unionizing the West. They've been talking about that over there. But Northwestern started out because
it's with the offensive coordinator for
because of the EA Sports, and they said
he was the quarterback for them.
We need, you're using our name, image, and likeness, and we're not getting anything back. This is why EA Sports stopped creating that game.
Correct.
This is why all that broke down. I get it. And
this is where it started.
Correct. And then from there it has snowballed because the NCAA was slow in acting.
I don't think it was slow in acting. I think they were unwilling.
Definitely
to
slow in acting.
Right.
No, slow.
Unwilling in acting.
Okay, slow/unwilling. I can go with both. I can go with that.
They're definitely unwilling, but they're definitely slow.
But there's a difference between being slow in acting and straight up unwilling to give an inch.
But once their unwillingness to bypass the unwilling, they were still slow about it.
Okay, but their unwillingness to give an inch is what led to the waterfall.
Their greed was massive.
They dragged their feet.
Their greed was exceptionally massive.
They dragged their feet.
You get nothing, we get everything.
Right. They didn't want to. They didn't want to give in. They didn't want to. Again, they could have made it very simple. They could have made it a stipend. They could have done a bunch of different things to put a cap on it, like you said, and keep things under control instead of this free for all that has been created. And again, sadly, the idea
you can't
of
shove this back into the box. That's the problem. So we got to figure out now.
But you know what the worst part is?
How to make it work.
But you know what the worst part is? That 99% of the kids that are going to go to school are not going to go to the NFL.
Correct.
Out of that 99%, 90 will not receive those kinds of monies. Okay. And eventually, there won't be the scholarships. Eventually, it's going to be a problem because, number one, the guys will not have an education. Number two, the guys that are getting the money won't know how to spend the money like we're seeing in the NFL. And number three, again, they've ruined a sport and a landscape. Well, they're on they're well on their way.
They're on their way, but there's still a chance to save it.
Like you just said about putting it back in the box.
Some of these guys couldn't handle their money anyway back in the day, even with not getting any. So at the end of the day, like I said, you can't put it back in the box. Let's figure out a way to save the sport. It has to adapt. It was always going to adapt. The playoffs is an adapting, form. So eventually having just 2 or 3 super conferences, and then it's going to be, minor leagues. It's what it is.
I think we were always going to head in this direction. The problem is that I think on both ends it was fumbled in the way that we ended up in where we're supposed to be.
I don't think any of us ever imagined somebody signing a $13 million nil.
No, what I'm saying is where you don't think that it was going to be to the point where college players were eventually going to get paid for their name, image, and likeness?
I'm not okay. There's a difference between getting paid for my name, image, and likeness and what we have right now. No one's getting paid for their name, image, and likeness. This is not name, image, and likeness. I'm not paying Grizz $6 million for his name, image, and likeness. I'm paying him $6 million to line up a right guard, pull, and make sure he traps everything on his left side.
Okay.
That's what I'm paying for. So it's not name, image, and likeness. And again,
I see what you're saying.
That's the problem. It was never meant to be. It was not supposed to be a pay for play scheme.
But my thing
was to reward the kids because again, the NCAA said, "Listen, you can't get paid. You can't get money. You are an athlete. You are you're an amateur. You are an amateur status." Right, just like the Olympics have the amateur status.
They wouldn't even let them work regular jobs
listen,
stuff like that.
Listen, okay, you can't get paid. You can't go to a pizza place and get a free pizza.
Stupid.
Okay? Again, they were very stringent with that side of
Retarded.
it. Right?
Too strict.
Right. I get again, and to a certain extent, I
understand.
I understand in a certain situation because okay, look, we don't want the bigger schools to throw more money. Okay, perfect. We went from that to saying, okay, name, image, and likeness. All right, the guy can go and do commercials.
Just a cover. Name, image, and likeness is covered.
Because
this is what they really wanted.
As the gentleman said, they were unwilling and slow to act. If they would have been willing to
What's
find
the last
a
TV
middle
contract?
ground,
How much did the last TV contract bring in?
$10 billion.
Again,
13 mil? That's going to be short change.
Again, if they would have acted and made it a stipend for the kids to be able to get a pizza, for the kids to be able... I mean, I live in Miami.
We went from a pizza...
I want to take my chick out to dinner.
To suing coaches over millions of dollars. That's the way it's going to be, man.
Baby, I only get $600 this week, but next week I'll put together, we'll have $1,000, we'll go
Here's
to
my
dinner.
Thing. And my opinion on this has been pretty well documented on the Two Coaches, One Grizz show. If Steve Jobs, let's say, right? If Anthony Carabata, our producer, right, has this phenomenal talent of being able to produce a show, and he can do this on his own time and make money as much as he can for his talents, right? Just like anything else in this world, right? Grizz's talent of pulling and trapping the shit out of any end or outside linebacker that comes in should be able to warrant him whatever he can make from that talent as well.
But not
just
like
if you have a code, if you have an AI code that
it's not at the but that's not what we're talking about. You're already getting
but that's
80.
But that's the idea.
Okay, no, but you're already getting $80,000, $80,000 to $100,000 in a scholarship,
but there's
tuition,
it doesn't matter. But there's computer
school.
programming students that are getting $80,000 to $100,000 scholarships.
Okay,
that's
listen.
For school. For me, putting my body on the line.
Okay.
For that color on the jersey and for the name of the school.
But that $80,000,
I want a piece of the pie.
Okay, but that $80,000, if you're good enough, then opens the door for you to play at the next level and get paid whatever money it is. Okay,
I got you.
So again,
I might get hurt my first year and never see any of that money. Thank God I got a couple bucks in college.
Guess what? You're still gonna get 4 more years of college. Because I can't get you. Got a red shirt.
I know,
and we're gonna take care of you. You got your injury, and you're still gonna get your education. Now, with that being said,
bound to happen.
Now, the next side of it is yes, I agree. They should have gotten some type of money, spending money. A spending money allowance, a spending money stipend, however you want to call it, for them to be it. And that's my biggest gripe with the NCAA.
That's why they're not going to exist in a few years.
That's why now Jalen Rashada is suing for $13 million.
Oh, Billy Napier.
A guy that can't even throw 50 passes a year.
Yeah. Hey, and I love the fact that it's happening to them.
Yes.
Shout out Gomes. Shout out the Gomez family. Good for you guys.
College football's in the toilet.
It's in the toilet.
I mean, it really
Your team's in the toilet.
It really is.
Bye-bye. All right, let's move on to some other... Something
Moving on to UFC and recapping last week's fight night.
It's something we can agree on.
You know, we were able to watch quite a few good fights. Again, Adrian Yanez comes through, knocks a guy out in the first round. Chaos Williams, same thing. Another Magomedov dominates and wins his fight. And the main event, which was Leroy Murphy, beat up Edson Barboza, who needs to retire. He needs to go home.
That guy's old.
He is, man. He needs to go back to Brazil and just say, look, man, I'm done.
Go train somebody.
Go train somebody. Go put up a gym. And again, it was a nice little buffet, a nice little snack, appetizer.
Wet your lips.
Appetizer to this week's, to June 1st, 302, UFC 302, Makachev versus the Diamond, Dustin Diamond Poirier. That's going to be a great fight. I don't think the Diamond's going to be able to hang.
You don't think so?
I don't think so, man. I think this guy takes him.
That's my guy, bro.
I listen, brother. I'm a fan. I think he's a good guy. He's tough. I just don't think he can handle this guy. I think Makhachev takes him. Again, I'm hoping for the upset. I really am. I'm hoping that the Diamond gets the upset. You know, I mean, I might sprinkle a little money on it just because I like him. I think he fights very well.
You know,
but I don't think in the main event he's got a shot. You got Sean Strickland against Paulo Costa. I think Paulo Costa's a stiff. That's just my opinion. Every time I see him fighting, I don't see him get better. I think he runs out of gas. He only fights 3-round fights. So anytime he gets more than 3 rounds,
this is his opportunity to prove himself.
So we'll see.
I mean, listen, it's a co-main event, and Strickland ain't no stiff, as you put it.
No. Again, it's a big fight because again, I think Strickland's going to mix it up with him, take some chances, which could be a problem, because Costa does hit. Paulo Costa is a very powerful dude, and he can take him out. The first fight in that main event is Randy Rude Boy Brown against Elezu Zaleski dos Santos.
No.
Yes, it's a mouthful. I already took Randy Rude Boy Brown at minus 155. He's minus 175 now. I think it's going to be a good fight. I think he wins. He's got a 5-inch reach advantage. He's 33 compared to 37 of Dos Santos. I think Randy's one of those guys that's going to have a couple good years left to be able to make some noise and do some stuff. I'm going to keep an eye on Grant Dawson. Again, we'll probably discuss it next week because the fight won't be for another 2 weeks. Grant Dawson fights Joe Solecki. I want to break it down a little bit more just because Solecki is one of the guys that I like. I think he's been a solid fighter, and he pulls up some good upsets. He's plus 260, plus 270, which is a nice little chunk of change to get back. Mickey Gall is also on the early prelims. That's going to be another slobber knocker. He's one of those guys that likes to.
No, this is going to be fun.
To go back and forth as usual. The card is stacked.
And it's going to be a good one. Like we'll be able to review it even more next week, just as we get more information. And they got the pre-fight situation going on. It's going to be fun. It's going to be a fun one. We should do that. We should do that little live viewing, little live stream viewing on that one. We'll talk about it.
We will discuss further.
We will discuss further, gentlemen.
Did you see real quick any other good fights this weekend? Like maybe the Tyson Fury getting knocked out?
I didn't see it.
I didn't see
Tyson?
it either.
I saw Tyson Fury getting hit and almost getting knocked out.
I mean, he lost a split decision, but he lost.
I saw
first time the belts have been unified.
You know what's funny is
I saw him getting bang-a-ranged.
He had dominated.
Correct.
For the first 8-9 rounds, and then from 9 to 12.
I saw him doing the ping pong ball.
Usyk did a great job
and I was just reading up here that I don't know why, but something's saying that the guy might be stripped of the belt.
What?
Usyk?
Yeah, I'm just reading this now because I wanted to talk a little bit about it, and it's saying something like, for some reason he did something. I don't know, but I also wanted to talk real quick about another fight that happened. I don't know if you guys saw in NASCAR. Ricky Stenhouse Jr.
I didn't see that.
You did not see this?
I didn't see that.
During the All-Star event for NASCAR.
Fun stuff.
Ricky Stenhouse Jr. gets pushed maybe like lap 3 by Kyle Busch.
Yes.
Wow.
What a Busch League move.
Busch League move. And let me tell you that it was funny because Kyle Busch said that he was getting payback for something else when clearly I don't think Stenhouse did touch him. So he runs him off. It's an all-star race. So you're thinking, it's the all-star race for them. But, winner gets $1 million.
Not in NASCAR, baby.
Hey, they don't care. They had a discussion, maybe 30 seconds back and forth, and all of a sudden, Stenhouse with the slowest right just punched him in the face. A little melee went off.
Essentially pushes him over.
Pushes him over. But then the funny thing is the father of Stenhouse comes at him, gets in a fight with Busch. They're at it a little bit. The best part about it is Stenhouse is telling him, hey, I'll see you in Charlotte and I'm going to wreck you. I don't think you should say that out loud. But Kyle Busch comes back with him. Who cares? I suck just as much as you and us. It's a terrible season. Go wreck me.
Oh, wow.
Just fantastic.
Oh, it was theater.
Oh, man. You got to see that later.
It was theater, for sure.
Thought I'd mention because
no.
we don't have laughs like that much, and that one gave me a
phenomenal mention, by the way. Phenomenal mention. Gentlemen, then that does it for today's episode. Thank you for tuning in, everybody. I want to make sure that, as opposed to last week, make sure to tell you guys to follow us on all of our social media platforms, right? YouTube, right? That should be coming soon. Okay, so
download,
subscribe, follow, subscribe,
like,
share
on the Apple Podcast,
love,
on the Spotify podcast, right? On Amazon Music. We are on all the major podcast platforms. Follow us on Instagram, follow us on Facebook, follow us on LinkedIn. We are on all the social media platforms.
We want it all.
Give us the follow. And I would like to also state that you can now interact and communicate with us and the show directly straight from the podcast app, right? In the description, at the top of the description, there is a link. You click on the link and you can text us directly. Give us your feedback. Give us your thoughts.
Good or bad.
Banter. Mess with us. Give us the topics that you want to hear us talk about. Okay? It's only going to be up from here, gentlemen. We'll be back next week. We love you all. Keep chiming in. Keep talking. Keep listening. Keep downloading. 2 coaches, 1 Grizz.
Hey, baby.